Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to make money in the market or to just learn from the market. So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer, y'all. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth, and the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, and as you can see, we are trading in this gathering spot here at 1555. I always try to go to the 4 o'clock candle. So around 1550 here, 1550 is our support range. It did come up, so we can say 1559. So between 1559 and 1569, that is our support and our resistance, 59 and 69. And if we break beyond that point, just keep in mind we can come back up and test this 1575, which is right in the 1588, which is right here at the 20 EMA. Now we do have some economic data coming out at 8:30, the PCE, and if we're not careful, the market can do some different things. Let me say that I always use the word different because the market does what the market does, right? So just keep in mind that we have trouble here at the VIX to the upside at 1582. If we break that level, 1606 is our 50-day EMA. And if we break that level, the ATR trailing stop is at 1631. And again, we're looking at the 30-minute time frame. And let's see. Yes, we're looking at the 30-minute time frame. To the upside, the 200 EMA is kind of right there at 1669, 1670. 1660. I will watch that area for the VIX. If we break above that 1669 or 1675, I'm going to set an alert at that place. If we break above that place, that we could very well continue to the upside, which will bring the SPY to the downside. And again, I always say anything is possible. So yeah, around that 1660, 1675 area is where I would be watching the VIX to the upside. Now, can we break down from this point? We very well can. I'm not saying that I see that happening based on, again, we can come back down and find support here at this 200 EMA at 1528. So anything under, because we've tested it before, anything under 1528 for the VIX to the downside, we could very well continue down. So let's go to the SPY. And the SPY is interesting because yesterday we were down in the 490 range, and let's see, yeah, 498 range, and then we end up at 507. So in my opinion, that is interesting only because I knew that, we had some information coming out today. So we have tested this 508.50 today, or was that yesterday? That was yesterday. And it wouldn't surprise me, if we came back up and tried to retest this area. However, based on how it's trading now, it is interesting. We don't know if it's going to go in either direction. So right now, our support area is at the 506.64. Resistance is at the 507.18. And it seems like we keep trying to break this area. We tested 507.54 around that area, but we're still trading in that gathering spot, which is right at where our 5 EMA and our 20 EMA. So if the SPY breaks above this 507.60, we could very well continue to the upside. So I would definitely watch that area of resistance. Now for the support area, I'm going to see if I can make this. Okay, so for the support area for the SPY, if we break under this 506.64 area here, we could very well continue, back down to the 506.03, which is the 50 EMA, and the ATR trailing stop is right here at the 505.20. So we could break, if we decide to come back to the downside, I would watch those areas. If we break that 505.20, then the 504.02 is the 200 EMA. Looking at this 30-minute chart, I was thinking of the daily. So looking at it on a wider view, this is the 1 hour. We've been in this gathering spot for a while. So we could break in either direction. Let's say either direction. So y'all be careful today. Trade what you see. Allow the charts to, give you a clear signal as to what it wants to do. This SPY moves about $6.68 per day, and that number changes the ATR, it changes. So I know maybe some days I've said one amount and then I look at it again, it's a totally different amount. I just look at the daily chart and it tells me it runs $6.68 on average. We are under the 5 EMA, right there at the 5. So if we break this level of the 503, well, we are above that. 503, let's see, 503.19. Where are we now? 503.19. The high of this candle is 507.35. So we are already above that. So we have to be careful again, because right now we're at the 507 range and the 503.37 is the 5 EMA. So we're going to be above the 5 EMA once the market opens. So I would say, again, be very, very careful at how you trade today. Wait on the information and wait on the market to settle, because when that news come out, it's going to cause an up or a down. I would always say wait on it to settle and then enter your trades, and make sure you have confirmation as to why you're entering the trades. This is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is moving, again, more of a sideways movement right now. Our support area is right here at the 835.84. Our resistance it broke out of that area of resistance here at the 839.35, only to come back up to this area here, which is about the 843.27. So those are three places. The 839.35 and the 843.27 are areas that I will watch for NVIDIA. And as you can see, our two candles here, they were kind of close. So this was really our range from the, the bottom here to the top here, the 835.84 to the 839.54. It start breaking out of that, and it's creating really another gathering spot. So the 843.27 is, if you can see, that's where the body of the candles are closing here, or here. This candle hasn't closed yet, but this is where the bodies are. So that I use that as our resistance. Even though it tested the 843.27, sellers were there to bring it back down. So I need to watch this area here as of now. So if you trade NVIDIA, I always say trade carefully. Just know that we have trouble to the downside. Right now, it's right at the 5 EMA, which is at the 840.26 area. If we break that and break under this 835.84, we have a support area of 833.41, which is the 20 EMA, or it could come all the way back down to this 50 EMA, which is kind of close to the 200 EMA, which is the 824.36 or the 826.33. So if you trade NVIDIA, I would watch those levels of support, especially if we break this 836 area here. And just keep in mind, if we break those two areas of support, we can come down to the 818.87. So if I traded NVIDIA, I would trade carefully. Right now it's trading in a gathering spot. It could move up or it could move down, and I would normally set my alerts under this level around the 833, 834 area to let me know that it is under a level of support. So I'll set the below to let me know that NVIDIA has broken a level of support, and I will set an alert above to let me know that it has broken an area of resistance. Again, trade carefully, trade cautiously, right? So let's look at Tesla. Tesla is interesting as always. Let's say that Tesla has been trading in a zone, since the market opened, but in my opinion, Tesla has gone from 138.80 from 422 all the way up to 170. I say trade carefully, because there is a gap to the downside that needs to be filled. Not saying that's going to happen today. I always say trade what you see, but right now our support area was at 171.35. The resistance was at 173.21. Although we did make a high of 173.78. I need to remember that area, because we could very well come back and test that 178.78 area. And my concern for Tesla is because it has moved up so much, and because of that, it could very well come down, and cool off just a little bit, and then continue back to the upside. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen today. I'm just saying that right now it's breaking out of our support area. So our gathering spot, let's say that the support is right here at the 168.41, which is the 20 EMA, and we're looking at the 1 hour chart. And we also have support at 163.96, which is the ATR trailing stop. we have another level of support at 162.43, which is kind of close to the 160.15. Those are the looking at the 1 hour, to the downside on the 1 hour. So the 30-minute is what I like to look at. Here we've been trading in this zone. We are under the 5 EMA. It looks like the 5 and the 20 may cross to the downside for Tesla, may being the key word, right? So if we break this level of support around the 170 area where we, make a new low here, we can come back and test this 167.33, which is the ATR trailing stop, which is not far from the 167.02, which is the 50 EMA. So those areas, in my opinion, will be strong support. If Tesla breaks this 167.02, then it could very well continue to the downside. So I will set an alert to let me know that Tesla is under a level of support. And if we break that 50 EMA, we could come back to this 158.85, which is the 200-day EMA. Looking at this 30-minute chart, it would not surprise me if Tesla came back to this 158.85 soon. Let me say that, because there is a gap at the 158.30 to the 147 range, but because of how it's been moving, and it's just interesting. I always say, if you trade Tesla, trade carefully. Just know that it could continue to the upside, and or it can come back down. Always look at your charts, pay attention, make sure you have your confirmations as to why you're entering the trade, and if and when it goes against your why, get out. It's okay to be able to, trade another day instead of blowing your account, right? So let's look at AMD. AMD is creating a gathering spot for us here. As you can see, the 156.14 area is what I would use as support. And the resistance area is kind of close to the 156.64. We did try to break out of this area here. So most people will say, well, it broke out here. It did. However, look where it came back to. Normally the price is in this area, in this range. Let me clear that out. The price is still in this range. So this is what I would consider the gathering spot. So right now the support is at 156.14. The resistance is right here at 156.64. We do have, it's under the 5 EMA based on this 30-minute chart. If we come down, and we could find support here at the 155.89. If we break that level of support, we can come down to the 154.39, which is right at the 200 EMA at the 154.06. So if you trade AMD, I always say be careful, watch those levels of support. And that 154.01 was an area of support yesterday, or resistance yesterday. So I will watch that level definitely. I will consider that more or less a strong support, my opinion, right? So 153.35 is our ATR trailing stop, and that's on the 30-minute chart. So AMD could move in either direction, right? It looks as if, we're under the 5 EMA. We will have trouble to the upside at 158.11, and that's the 200 EMA. And we will have trouble at, I marked this level before, 158.79, 159.36. These are areas that if AMD decides to break to the upside, we could very well have trouble in those places. So if you trade AMD, I would definitely watch the 158.11 area as resistance, and the 154.06 as support, and it could very well trade within that range. And keep in mind, AMD moves about $6.34 per day. Looking at it on this daily chart, we are slightly above the 5 EMA. It could come in either direction. It can go in either direction. Let's say that. Trade carefully, trade cautiously, trade what you see. So we've looked at the VIX, we've looked at Tesla, we've looked at AMD. Let's look at Meta, because Meta is interesting based on the decline from, the earnings. It's interesting that Meta report earnings in decline, Tesla report an incline, and that's interesting to me. But again, I am an overthinker. So this is the 30-minute chart for Meta. It seems like our gathering spot is here. Look, it's our 4 o'clock candle. We have a gathering spot starting at about 444.21. So I will mark that as my support, because that's where most of my candles are coming, the bodies of my candles are coming back to, 444.62. And the resistance is right here at the 448.33. So right now Meta is moving in this range, and I would to the upside. Right now we can go in either direction. Support is at this 20 EMA at the 444.04. So if we break this level, then we have broken support, and I'm going to put an alert to let me know that it is below that area of support, and it looks like it's trying to break out now. So it looks like some news may be getting ready to come out, right? So at the 448.33 was the resistance area. Keep in mind the ATR trailing stop is at the 452.84, so we can have trouble there. If you trade Meta, trade carefully. There is a gap that needs to be filled to the upside, but right now we're still there's also a gap to the downside, so that's something to be mindful of. Know that we're going to have trouble at 472.76, which is the 200 EMA, looking at this 30-minute chart. Also at the 457.35, which is very close to the 458.30. So we're going to have trouble at the 458 area for Meta to the upside. If it breaks this strong, it's right there at a strong area of support. The 20 EMA, the 50 EMA, we're right there. So keep in mind we could very well come back to this 430.96 and 421.71, which was previous support and a resistance, So again, anything is possible. I always say trade carefully, trade cautiously, because the market does what the market does. Do not rush into your trades. Allow your trades to come to you. So we're going to go back to the SPY just to see where we are, because I do believe we have economic data about to come out or about to be released, and just to see how the market moves when that information comes out. Again, SPY is still trading in this area. I say trade cautiously, right? Y'all don't rush into your trades. I say that so often. And sometimes, again, it's easier to wait on the market to settle before you actually rush into your trades. One, you can get a better cost on your premiums if you're trading options. And then you're just not stuck into something that if you would have waited, you would have got, you wouldn't have been in a situation. Set your stop losses and get out quickly once it goes against your why. So y'all, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I am super, super excited. It's a new day, another opportunity. I say that often. Right? So be encouraged, stay focused, right? I hope that everyone have a very profitable day today. And I always like to leave you with this, y'all. Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.